Okay, just wanted to do a take on my MRI scan. Um, just so maybe you guys can out there understand maybe from your results. Um, the specifics with my scan is I have, it's around about, it must be about 4 inches long. It's called a Syringomyelia. It's in the middle of my back. I think it's T7 to T12, I can't remember, but it's somewhere between specific discs. It's quite pronounced as well. So yes, I've seen it. The specialist went through it with me, um, and we discussed the result. And yeah, when you look at it, you think, crikey, that's actually inside of me. So what does it mean? What does my MRI, what was the results? What did the specialist say to me? So the first things first is nerve damage. So the position of the shrinks is in my spinal cord. It seems to be in a position where he said the membrane of the spinal cord and the cyst is so pronounced in a way that he doesn't think that the cyst will grow further. He thinks it's reached that static point. But the problem is it's damaged a lot of the nerves in that area. And I must admit, when I refer to pain, have you guys ever felt like you're in a vice? You feel like you can't breathe. Sometimes you feel really tight. And I'll ask you a question. How do you guys get on when you drive? One of the things I find is every time I hit a bump or even just turn a corner at a sharp point within the middle of my spine, I get this sharp spine pain and spike of pain, in fact. And it can be quite deliberating, but take your breath away, in fact. So driving, challenge, results, back to the results. I keep getting away from that. So yeah, it's damaged nerves. So nerve damage, that's where we are, nerve damage. What does that mean to me? Well, at the end of the day, there are specific nerves in my middle back that control your, unfortunately, your bowel functions, being able to go to the toilet, things like that. But one of the things I found that's been quite challenging is going to the toilet. I could be driving. I don't know if you guys have ever had this, but I could be driving, then all of a sudden, I need to go to the toilet. And my body is going into this like drive mode that you need to go. And I'm talking number 2 here. So I'm stuck in traffic, I'm in panic, and I'm like, Christ, I can't control this. So yes, that is one of the symptoms. That's related to where my syringomyelia is. So that's one. Hot and cold sensations. That's another one. I don't really feel hot and cold in my chest and my back side of my neck. So I can start to get into a position where when it gets cold, I don't feel myself getting cold. So I start to shiver when it is a bit too late, and I start to get really hypothermic. So because you don't feel it. It's quite funny because you'll be outside, it's cold, everyone's going, it's freezing out here. And I'm like, I can feel I'm cold because my face is cold, my hands are cold. But around my chest, nothing. Nerve damage. Back to nerve damage again. What else? I think the pain level around swelling. My body has gone into a situation where the specialist says to me, your body knows there's a foreign object there. Your body obviously goes into fight mode, so it creates swelling. So do I have swelling in my middle back? Yes, it's quite pronounced. You can see it. And that is quite challenging because, again, when you touch it, yes, you feel the pain. But like the specialist said, is that can be controlled through pain management. So symptoms-wise, I would say they're probably the top 3. The vice sensation, yeah, that can be quite fucking, excuse my language, sorry. But I think that can be really, take your breath away. And scary because you're trying to breathe and you feel like you're stuck in a vice. Do I get it all the time? I suppose I get that when I do too much. And, I'm sure you guys out there, when you do too much, even when I go shopping, I just leave the bloody shopping off the counter and I take it to the car. I sit there and I go, "Cool, that was hard work." And then I get that sensation of pain when I'm driving. So, yeah, it's syringomyelia and results, going back to the MRI. These are all the things that really create that level of Now I understand. I get it. You know, I've seen my MRI, I've seen my spinal cord, I've seen the damage. And I've got to get in my mind that, like the specialist said, is I am okay, it's controlled, and yes, it's frightening, but just remember, your body is in a scatter mode. It doesn't know what's going on because the signals from my brain to my functions are saying one thing, and this cyst is like another button that's being pressed that's saying another thing. So you can imagine the chaos that's going on in my body with regards to managing my normal functions. And those chaoses create pain, discomfort, distraction, seriousness, I need to go to the toilet, hot and cold differences. But all of these things are related to just that circuit board change. And that's something that the specialist has said to me is think of a circuit board. Think of a fuse that's blown. He said, you've got a number of fuses within you that are no longer working. And those fuses are firing every now and again because your body finds a way through. And then all of a sudden you get a spark. And I must admit, I don't know if you guys get sometimes that I'll be in pain for like all day. And then all of a sudden I get this like warm feeling going through my middle back. And then all of a sudden I get this wave of shit. I'm not that. The pain's gone. Little do I know that that's one of those circuit boards that is just slightly fired up because maybe the swelling has just been reduced slightly, or I haven't done too much. And straight away I get that false sensation of, hey, I'm okay, and then off I go. So yeah, the MRI results that I've had, that's my explanation of what I'm aware of, and this circuit board issue that I've got with my body. And fortunately, and the fortunate thing is it's not gone too high into where the area of seriousness comes in, is because as the syringomyelia goes higher, it starts to turn off those fuses that actually allow you to close your eyes, to breathe, heart function, that kind of stuff. So yes, it's serious shit we're talking about here, and scary. Hence why I have to have regular MRIs to make sure that there's no progression there before I lead towards that worst case scenario of surgery. Because surgery, bear in mind, as I've been told, cuts those circuit boards. It has to get in there. They do a shunt. That is something that they've suggested. A shunt allows the cerebral fluid to flow more naturally. Does it fix the problem? Not really. It assists and it might give you some comfort. But 9 times out of 10, they're messing with your spinal cord. So are you going to come out of it in the clear? I'd like to think that someone who's had it, I don't know, maybe you throw back your experience, because my experience right this minute is I'm scared shitless. I don't want to have that scenario where they told me I could be paralyzed. Yeah. So MRI results, that's where I am. That's how I've tried to explain it to you guys. But in general, the most scariest one for me out of all of this is that feeling that you're in a vice and you can't breathe properly and you're catching your breath and you're trying your utmost best to say to yourself, it's okay, I'll be fine. And when you've had pain, trust me, this is a silent pain, but it is a pain that makes you, literally puts you to tears. It makes you just want to go to the A&E and say, please just give me some morphine and just get rid of this sensation. It's so hard to explain to someone when you look okay. I'm in A&E. I'm explaining my MRI results. This is my problem. Please just give me something for the pain. But it's nerve pain, and it's so hard to target nerve pain. So I feel it every day, and I feel your pain. So, in a nutshell, that's my MRI scan results. That's what it's done to my spine. I'm still going through the rigmaroles of how I'm finding a balance between this. It's took me a long time to accept it, but yeah, feel free to like, share, do whatever you want to do with it. At the end of the day, I hope it's very useful for you guys, but I'm raw, I'm to the point, and I just want to be able to say how it is. Thanks, guys.